The gospel is such a powerful message. It conveys truths that ultimately lead to the redemptive work of God in our lives. It is the message of hope and salvation to a world that is lost, forgotten, and in need of forgiveness. We live in a culture where truth has become something muddied and oftentimes contentious. We live in a world that has adopted subjective truth as a new norm, and absolute truth has been made to feel and seem outdated and intolerant. It is easier to accept and embrace subjective truth based on our feelings, our own personal stories, and the like. As it relates to the gospel message, the gospel leaves no room for subjective truth. It is in the truth of Jesus' words that we are able to encounter God, love, and salvation. We have all been made in the image and likeness of God, bearing His characteristics and attributes. These characteristics include the ability to love, create, and more. The hard and difficult truth is that each person has been marred by sin. Sin came to entice and to submit us to sinful nature's longing. The sin nature desires what is destructive to all of us who are made in the image of God. To illustrate what sin did, I'll create an analogy. Our perfect union with God was like an airplane ride, cruising with the Almighty at the helm, enjoying His world and taking in the beauty of it all. Everything was well and everything was good. In our desire to be like God, we allowed the deceiver to trick us into believing there was another way to enjoy this world, full of complete knowledge of good and evil. That plane ride turned into a mid-air disaster. Sin came in, flung the door open, and pushed each and every one of us out of the protection of God and into a free fall, spiraling descent towards our own destruction and death. You see, the thing is, the deception has been deep and it's real. Sin has made us all believe that this gliding down / free fall isn't a free fall at all. It's actually freedom from the perceived restrictions of God's protection and rules. The worst part is that we have actually believed this. We've consumed the lie. Now here's the hard part. What truth does, God's absolute truth, is it tells you and I that we aren't gliding down. We aren't experiencing this freedom. The hedonistic, pleasure at all costs, self-serving, all about me, I'ma do me, liberated life is actually a life of bondage to sin. It's a life that is rocketing towards earth. This is the hard, unbiased truth that cares not about our feelings. Sin pushed us out of the plane with no parachute in hand. This is, if you would, the bad news. But the power of the gospel is in the good news that God has provided in Himself a safety net of mercy for those that would believe and receive it. Jesus has the power to rescue everyone who calls for help and aid. He is eagerly awaiting for His creation to call out for help to Him. Just like Peter did when he was sinking and drowning in the sea, our efforts to stop our descent are futile. Only Jesus can extend the safety net of mercy and grace. He comes and He catches us. That is the power of the gospel, the truth that we have all fallen short of God's glory, but it is His mercy that has come to save and protect us from our own destruction. As we go about our daily lives, let us never forget to give people the truth of the good news of the gospel, that while we were yet sinners, free falling into our own destruction, Jesus gave His life for us so that we could be saved and receive His mercy. Let's tell the whole truth and see how God transforms people's lives around us. That safety net is available to anyone and everyone who would call on Him.